Hello and welcome back to the Frizz and the Grizz podcasts. It's your boy Trudeau. Let's see how you doing, buddy.
I'm doing great. Happy fucking Monday. Whoo! What a weekend.
Dude,
what a weekend. My goodness.
You got to tell me about this weekend, but man, your little slogan, Happy Monday. I swear now that I have meetings on Monday, and every time a meeting starts, I'm like, Happy Monday. I still
Gotta say it politically correct, man, if you're still working. White
I ain't
collar
dropping the
atmosphere.
F-bomb. I want to. I'm
We
gonna
need
slip
the
one of these
job.
days and do it in your honor.
As long
On
as
my
you have it
last day, we're
recorded,
gonna
I'll be
peace
happy.
out.
Yeah. When you
Happy
send them your
fucking
walking
Monday,
papers.
peace out. It'll be a happy Monday when I get to peace out and stop working.
There
How was
you
your
go.
weekend?
That's the truth. Weekend was straight. We did a decent amount of moving around the house. We know that's always fun, but a lot of prep for next week, which I know we'll get into us not having our show next week, obviously because of Halloween. So it's good to get the kids around to see, a lot of the decorations that they're going to basically see, come Monday of next week.
We are on Monday. We are on next week though, right? Just Tuesday.
Yeah, it'll be Monday. It'll be Tuesday of next week.
All right, yeah, just so we don't confuse anyone. Yeah, so we'll be off on Halloween. We'll be back Tuesday. As always, I want to thank the fans. Continual support, watching live. On Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We appreciate and love all y'all.
Yes,
So
sir.
today will be a fun show. We're gonna do a lot of NFL, NBA stuff. The NBA season just kicked off last week, so there's not a ton to go over, but there are some takeaways that we have. But first, we did want to jump into the NFL stuff. I don't know where you want to start. I have like a long list of action items. Let's just start with the latest game last night,
Mhm.
Dolphins Steelers. I did not watch it. I did find some interesting stats about Tua, and I wanted to share them with you in the audience. But what were your assessments of Tua coming back from the injury?
Two look good. Granted, the first half was different than the second half. I think just like they typically are, the Steelers are going to be annoying to deal with no matter who you are. Their defense is always going to be good. That's just what Mike Tomlin teaches. That's what he preaches out there. But that first drive, it looked like Alabama 2.0. He was getting the ball out quick. They even said that he had a remnants look of San Francisco because of Mike McDaniel's ties with when he was, coaching in San Francisco, but getting the ball to Mostert in certain situations, like getting the ball across the middle to Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill was still a nuisance. Mike Gesicki was even in there on some of those catches. And then they even had like a fourth string wide receiver making havoc, which is crazy. Like I said, they got the weapons. As long as Tua is getting the ball out quick, which I'm sure you're going to dive into a bunch of that stuff, like that team is going to be tough. Granted, second half, it was a little bit tighter of a game. I'm pretty sure, like you had mentioned off air, I think they were taking away the middle of the field. So granted, again, his first game back, I think he looked really good. They picked up where they left off. They're still winning with them. So I think Dolphins, as long as he stays healthy, in the first drive, he literally scrambled to the right, lowered the shoulder, and tried to run over somebody. Everybody was like, dude, you're just coming back from a concussion. What are you doing? Just slide next time. But he's a gamer. He's a baller. So I got nothing but love for him doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously good to see him back healthy. And the first drive, obviously, is a very good sign for things to come. They looked sharp. It's obviously night and day from when they had the combination of Bridgewater and Skylar Thompson.
Yep.
This is a much more competent team. We saw in the first three weeks, this team is obviously a team to be reckoned with. Without Tua, there's a huge dive. I thought interesting, people have their opinions, good or bad, on Tua. He's a very polarizing figure for some reason. And I was diving into the numbers today to kind of figure out I was doing an exercise not for Tua, just to kind of see where we are as far as the NFL is concerned. And statistically, Tua's been phenomenal thus far, including last night and the rest of the season. So QBR, he's third overall, only behind obviously the two big dogs in Mahomes and Josh Allen. The generic quarterback rating, he's third. He's sixth in completion percentage, which I found a little surprising because people think of Tua as kind of like a completion percentage monster. He's doing a lot of little checkdowns. And honestly, when I thought of why Tua's QBR is so high, I'm thinking maybe he has a high completion percentage and he's just dinking and dunking and getting, high
Short
completion
passes.
percentage. Yeah. The thing that I want to stress to you in the audience that I was completely, shocked by, Tua ranks number one in the league in one stat that I found completely shocking. Do you have any guesses what that would be?
I'm going to guess the way that you're leading this up to, it's yard per pass.
Yeah, he's actually leading the league in yards per attempt, which is like
Mhm.
bananas. I think it's like 8.7 yards per attempt. He ranked, I think, last year somewhere around 20th to 25th. So he was utilizing those short passing game. And I think this is the difference of why they probably brought in Mike McDaniels, where I love Coach Flo, right? I thought he did a great job with that team. Obviously, a defensive minded coach, but McDaniels is kind of unlocking his potential a little bit. And you're seeing Tua open up a little more, throw the ball downfield. And when he's there, 4-0 as a full-time starter. So clearly he's unlocked something, getting the ball downfield. He's top 5 in QBR and all the stats. So I know we haven't seen two in a while, so we're kind of like numb to this, but he's been very good. He's still very good, and this team is going to go where he takes them.
Part of that, I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. Granted, I think there are some of the throws that he could, and I like Tua, so I am a Tua defender. Some of the throws you could see he just needs a little bit more oomph into it, but his yards per attempt are going to go up. He
Yeah,
has two of the scariest wide receivers in the NFL on his team, and we saw it last night where people are just afraid of streaks. They're just afraid that they're just lining up and they're like, oh my goodness, these dudes are just going to sprint as fast as they can. And then all of a sudden they run a post or an out. So there's so much cushion behind that. And I know that he's talking about his quarterback. So like he's going to say it, but Tyreek Hill said in the offseason that Tua was more accurate than Patrick Holmes. I don't believe that, obviously, but we know based off of what he did when he was at Alabama and the couple of years that he did leading up to this year, obviously, he was still an accurate quarterback. It was just arm strength that everybody was talking about. So now that he has the threat of throwing it deep, he can just bucket Tyreek's down there somewhere. Like he can do that, and like playmakers make a play. So like Tyreek Hill is coming up big. Gesicki and Waddle are showing wonders right now for that offense. And again, I think the Dolphins are going to be something tough. Just one of those teams that you just don't want to play, on a random Sunday. You just don't want to come across having to cover those dudes.
So then a positive, obviously, without Tua, they dropped the last two. They're now 4-3. On the positive side for this team going forward, the next couple of games look extremely easy. You have in order Lions, Bears, Browns, Texans. 4
It's
games
an
that I
easy
don't want.
3-1 right there.
It's still the NFL. It's going to be tough, but like, yeah, you could definitely go 3-1, maybe 4-0 if you kind of capture some of that magic from the early season. You go 3-1. What are you 7-4? Like you're right
Yeah.
back in the driver's seat. So
Mhm.
I feel very good still about this Dolphins team. My only concern, and outside of Tua getting hurt, I think it's weird to say, but one of their weaker positions as far as depth's concerned is wide receiver. Like they have probably, in my opinion, the two best wide receivers, 1 and 2, as far as like a tandem in the league. But after that, 3, 4, and 5, you got really not a lot of help. And I just hope that Waddle and Hill can continue to stay healthy because it becomes very hard when you get that Cooper Cup treatment in LA. Like we saw
Mhm.
Cooper Kupp put up historic numbers last year. And now that he's like the only guy, he's getting a lot of double teams. The safeties are cheating over to help. If Waddle or Hill is out, that offense might have a tough time clicking because you're going to see a lot of heavy coverage schemes to tie up the other one, whoever doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, that's again. I don't want to beat a dead
I
horse
don't know.
and drag the Dolphins too long, but yeah, they have to stay healthy. Sherfield is their 3. Never even heard of them until last night when they even said it. Like, oh, Sherfield with the catch, and everybody's like, who? So yeah, they have to stay healthy. But those type of wide receivers, they don't take big hits. So as long as they don't mess up anything with their legs, I think they should be good.
Yeah. And then just really quick, just touch on the Steelers side. I don't know if Pickett's the answer at quarterback. I think if they finish with a top 5 to 7 pick, they might be looking again at quarterback. I know that's a really quick turnaround, but we've seen this in Arizona.
Mhm.
Um, I forget the guy's name that they drafted in the first round.
Josh
Rosen.
Rosen.
And they moved on quickly. He just has a lot of turnover issues, and he's not really moving the needle for that team. So we'll see.
He's not
Uh,
playing as fast as he played when he was in Pitt. That's to me the thing. And again, it's the NFL, so it's much quicker, and we can move on after. But he's not playing athletic quarterback like he did when he was at Pitt. He's not moving around because people are just as fast as he is, obviously.
yeah, and just put a bow on that. Like sometimes with the younger quarterbacks, you give them time to develop, but he's also like I think 25 or 24, 25 right now. He was a super senior,
Hmm.
so he's kind of already close to that plateau. All right.
You know where
There's
the
a lot
ceiling
of
is.
games we can touch on. I feel like people kind of complain about this slate of NFL games that there wasn't anything super special. Um, I did think there was a lot of close games, and in particular, I watched a lot of Browns Ravens because, like, obviously we're Team Lamar here at the Frizz the
Hmm.
Grizz podcast. I'm still Team Lamar, but I'm getting a little shaky about being Team Lamar just because I'm almost at the point where to start the season after week 1 and 2, I was like, see, you got it, you should have gave that man that bag, like give him his money. And now I'm like, maybe it was a good idea to kind of play this out another year and see how this goes because this team's had a tough time closing games out, right? Like that's kind of been their Achilles heel all season. They've gotten big leads. They haven't been able to maintain those leads. Lamar's not really leading them on those big eating drives where you take up 5 minutes, 6 minutes at the end of the game off the clock. So I'm shaky on this team. I'm shaky on Lamar. Can you kind of like put some good energy in me and like turn me around on this?
Yeah, Lamar's going to do Lamar things. He's going to try to be Superman. That team is not constructed to win. And I don't care what anybody says. Like Bateman is their best wide receiver. Granted, Andrews is going to do as much as he can, but he's still a blocking tight end. He makes some great plays, but he's still a physical blocking tight end. He's not stretching the field like Kelsey or stretching the field like a Gronk in his heyday. So, like, you really don't have an offensive threat. They're still running through running backs. You know what I'm saying? What's it? Who's the
J.K.
LT?
Dobbins just went down.
Yeah, and Latavius Murray was back out there. Like this just like it's a revolving door in the backfield. You're throwing for it to be his contract, and this is an excuse. He still has to step up. Like if he wants the money, he's got to do his thing. And like I'm not making an excuse for him, but you got to realize how bad that team is, and they're still bad defensively. Even if you have a good game, they're still a very bad defense. And like having everything going not against him, but just like he's fighting an uphill battle, it's going to be tough, and he has to step up. We have to see the Superman that we know he can be, making those athletic, explosive plays. There's like snippets here and there, but then it's like it gets a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, and he's got to rely on somebody else besides his legs, and that's when he gets caught in some trouble.
So in my game notes, because I like to have a sheet of paper before we do this podcast, I kind of write down like little snippets and little game notes of what I thought from the weekend. Obviously, if you're watching live, you can see this right here. It's my game notes. And I'm pretty adamant about this. I've been adamant for several weeks that they should probably fire and move on from Greg Roman, their offensive coordinator. It's crazy to say because after Lamar's MVP season, he was kind of the talk of the town for getting a head coaching job. And I think it's time to move on if you're the Ravens from him. And the reason being, we all know that Lamar is a fantastic football player. At very least, he's a fantastic athlete, right? And I just don't think at this point Greg Roman's doing anything to make the situation easier. That he's not scheming guys open very well. He's not designing anything unique and special to utilize Lamar's skills. I mean, what he is doing to utilize his skills is running like quarterback powers. And I mean, if that's all you're going to do, it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
We'll talk about
yeah.
that.
We
I
talked
disagree.
about that. I know
Go
you
ahead. You want to
do.
get into it? Go ahead.
Look, just 2 real quick points. Stupid play calls. I don't care if it was 4th and inches and they've been
It's not a
running,
dumb play
dive,
call.
whatever you want to call it.
Hold on. Before you start
He
leading the
is the
witnesses,
okay. Go
can you
ahead. Go
just tell
ahead.
them what happened before you start calling it stupid, and they
You
can
can
decide?
you
Okay.
can you can lead up to the situation. I'll tell you why it's a dumb call.
All right. So me and Darian had a very heated text exchange, I think, yesterday about this. We're on opposite sides about this debate, and it was involving, I think it was a 4th and 1 call between the Browns and Ravens. And what happened was, I think they're on the 30-yard line. That doesn't really matter. But if you remember, it's the play where you have in the backfield, you have Lamar kind of almost at a tailback spot. You have a running back at the fullback spot, set off to the side, and then under center is the tight end Mark Andrews. Now, in previous situations, they've run this snap to Andrews, and Andrews has snuck the ball. And it makes sense because you want to protect your quarterback, Lamar. You don't want him running quarterback sneaks and getting hurt in that stupid fashion. But against the Browns, they ran something a little different. Andrews takes a snap from under center. The fullback goes opposite side, blocking to the outside, and Andrews actually pitches a toss to Lamar. Lamar continues to get a first down. I think it's like 6-7 yards. He only needed 1. They get the first down, and my initial reaction after seeing that play was, that was a really fantastic play design because I thought
Mhm.
everyone thought it was going to be the QB sneak with Mark Andrews, but instead they ran a toss play, which I've never seen before in that out of that formation, and it worked. So, in my opinion, if the play works, you get a first down. Smart coaching, good play call. But Darian disagrees.
Stupid. Stupid. Stooped. Stupid. Just dumb. Look, like he's the franchise quarterback, and you just said it yourself with Greg Roman running a very vanilla offense, and it's hurting his
That wasn't
value when it
vanilla.
comes to getting paid. Right, but it's a stupid call. Like that's what you do to open up the playbook. Let's run toss to our quarterback, huh? Like he has the potential to be the highest paid quarterback in the league, and you're going to risk a first down on a toss play. Like, give me a break. Like, if you're going to do that lineup, toss it to an actual running back. I don't, and I get that where you're going to go with this, where it's like, well, he's a scrambling quarterback. He gets hurt. He can get hit on any of those plays. You might, all right, whatever. What I said, off air was there's a difference between when he tucks and runs and he knows where he's going to go because he can read the defense compared to a toss where there are so many more factors of what if the actual team does see that it's a toss. Now he's got a situation with Boogie Miles. Like, I need to either make a play or go down. And it's a toss play to your quarterback. He's not a running back. He's not a wide receiver. He is a quarterback. Stick to the running back game with that type of stuff. Call some read option where it's actually quarterback making the decision, not tight ends calling a toss. Same way that they made a stupid call in Tennessee doing a handoff to a quarterback. Like, it's just annoying to see back to back. I think that was probably the bigger reason why I was pissed is because it happened back to back. And I was like, this is just ridiculous. Keep him at quarterback.
It's four things, and I'm gonna forget what the fourth thing is. I'm gonna get to number four because listen. This is a little different. I'm having a little Hennessy during the podcast recording, so this might
I
be a little
got
sloppy
just
towards the end.
regular iced tea because we're in the South now, so
We'll
I
just
drink iced
pretend
tea a
that's
lot.
Hennessy. That's a big glass of Hennessy, my friend. The four things, I already forgot the last one, but the four things are this. Number one, it worked. So clearly it was a good play call, right? The whole point is to move the chains, get the first down. Second, all right, I forgot what second was. We're gonna move on to but third, your whole issue with this is that he's your franchise quarterback. He's trying to get paid. You can't be doing that with him. And it's not the coach's responsibility. And listen, I'm pro Lamar, but it's not the coach's responsibility to worry about Lamar and getting his bag. That's on Lamar. And if he wants to guarantee that money, bro, you got to sit out. Like, I know that's not your style, but that's what you got to do. And if you're not going to do it, this is the risk you run, plain and simple. And then
You said it yourself, though. They hadn't run. Yeah, you forgot the fourth one, which is where I was going to go.
I remember
Oh,
two
okay, go
and four
ahead.
now. Number two that I forgot a second ago, thank you for reminding me, is that the whole point of NFL scheming and calling plays is to be unpredictable. So you're saying, well, why don't you have Lamar running some sort of option play or have a running back in the backfield? If Lamar's running the option, they've seen that look so many times. It's predictable. It's been practiced against. The defense knows how to react. The idea with this play is it's unpredictable. You're trying to catch them off guard, and it worked that way. And then finally, number four, which I forgot at first, I remember now. You, as a play caller, need to utilize your player's best abilities, right? In Lamar's best ability, I like him as a passer, but you can't deny his best ability is his athleticism. And if you're going to call an offense that doesn't utilize a player to the maximum potential, then that's on you. And what they did was utilize Lamar to the maximum potential, called something that was unpredictable, and it worked. So I don't understand where the disagreement comes.
I don't want to keep beating a dead horse with this one. I don't like that you're lining up your franchise quarterback in the backfield to run a toss to him. The play specifically, to me, that just didn't feel right. And I know you said that it's not the coach's job and responsibility to worry about Lamar getting paid, but it is the coach's job and responsibility to make sure that his quarterback doesn't get hurt, because who is your backup? And running a toss play, that it worked. You're right. They got the first down.
Okay,
If they didn't get the first down, would it have been worth it? Absolutely not.
Would you have a less of a issue with it if this is, I don't know, AFC championship game and they're running that play? Is it
Yes.
situational?
Yes,
You'd be
it
more
is
okay
week
with it then?
6 in the regular season. Yeah, because like you're laying it out on the line. And
That's
granted, you
fine.
go, look, I'm a big fan of give it 100% every single time you're on the field. That's not giving it 100%. That's just play calling. That's not,
Okay.
we're here to win week 6, baby. No, like, cut it out. Like, there's 100 ways that you could have, skinned a cat with that. And I don't think that that was the right play call. You know, I'm not the coach. I didn't make the decision. They did. They got the first down. They ended up winning the game. It works all out. It works out at the end. I'm not a fan of the call, honestly, with you lining them up there.
They won the game,
They,
but again, dude, they just keep trying to lose this game in the fourth quarter. And
yeah.
I want to believe in Lamar and the Ravens, but they, for every week so far, all 7 games, they've managed to make the fourth quarter dicey. Like they can't put a game away, which is super concerning, which is crazy because they're a running team first. So you should be poised if you have a lead in the fourth quarter to grind the game to the halt.
Are they really? I mean, we don't have to keep talking about the Ravens, but are they really a running team?
They
They just
want to be
happen to
one.
run. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think they're a fake running team where everybody thinks they
What's their
are,
identity
and then you look at the
defensively then?
box score. Well, it's like everybody thinks they are, and then they look at their box score, and there's 5 running backs that had 5 carries each for 20 yards.
I know.
That's not really a running team. That's just they happen to have a lot of guys running the ball.
That's why I say you need to fire that dude, Greg Roman, because are they a passing team? No. Are they a running team? No. Like they're just Lamar doing Lamar. That's it. That's what they are.
Exactly.
I don't know. I want to love that team.
Something else on
me off. All right. Do you want to talk about your poopy Saints, or do you want to talk about how much we hate 2 quarterbacks?
I mean, you could just go with the NFC South. We don't have to talk about the Saints. We know how bad they're playing. Andy Dalton is just real quick. I guess Andy Dalton is trying to do his best to resurge his career. It's not happening, unfortunately. And he got hurt at the end of the game. Olave is right now. Go ahead.
No, I say so. I did not know what happened. So was Jameis ready to play, and they decided to bench him, or was he not physically ready to play?
He's able to go, but Dalton has looked better. Dalton has looked good in the last 2 games, and unlike the Patriots, what it looks like from what I just saw, they stuck with the hot hand. They didn't keep in Zappe. No, Zappe's not in. Mac Jones is in. From what I just saw.
Sad.
Yeah, stupid. And lo and behold, it's 3-0 Chicago. But what I meant by it is they played the hot hand. Granted, he's still getting a bunch of turnovers, but like he looked good. Okay. And Olave is rookie for right now. He's rookie of the year. Kamara's a shell of himself. Really not too much. The defense isn't living up to the hype that they were supposed to be at the beginning of the season. Let's go on to the 2 quarterbacks that everybody hates to talk about, but we're going to talk about them.
You want to vent first? You want me to vent first?
You can vent first since it's your team. You have more, I guess, like eggs in the basket because it's your actual team.
Yeah, man. It's so weird. I wonder what the general Q score on Tom Brady is right now, because I think when he left New England and went to the Bucks, like everyone loved Tom Brady. His Q score was through the roof. And I just think it's just been slowly on the decline. I'm a Bucks fan, first of all. I'm so done with Tom Brady. I just want him to go away and be out of my life, because he's the biggest crybaby I've ever seen. From New England to Tampa, when things don't go right, he throws shit like a fucking toddler, and then he blames everyone else. It's never his fault. Granted, is he the greatest quarterback of all time? Probably. But still, like, you need to have some accountability, and for him to just always fucking blame everyone else, not show up to practices, take off the off season, go to parties, and then just when things go tough, it's just like whatever. And I will say this, I was more shocked with the loss of the Steelers than I was to the Panthers. And I say this because we all know the weakness of this Bucks team is their offensive line. And that Panthers team, while they are terrible,
got to him.
That D-line is really good. Brian Burns is probably top 5 defensive lineman in the league right now. That's a good line, and that matchup was not in the Bucks' favor.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head with the whole Brady thing. I think the biggest point of it is some of the stuff that he's doing off the field. Granted, I don't care about his personal situation, his personal life. Like, that's not what we're here for. But some of the stuff that he's doing off the field that is not correlating to what he's doing on the field. That whole party on Friday, missed a workout Saturday to play on Sunday. Huh? Like, that's, like you said, the greatest quarterback of all time. And there are points, and I do this again with the Lakers, like there are points where I understand your name is Tom Brady, and I understand your name is LeBron James. I do not give a shit about the past. I'm worried about 2022. Like, we're worried about winning week 7 or game 4 in 2022. Like, your resume speaks for itself. Like, I get it. You're a champion. But we can't have you missing practice and then missing a walkthrough and then see me on the sideline yelling at like, nah, man, miss me with that because I'd have done the same thing. I looked at him like, who the fuck you yelling at? Where were you at practice? Oh, you were at a wedding? Like, and that's just Booger McFarland was talking about it today too. Like, what it's causing is like situational like urgency where
Mhm.
that pass to Mike Evans yesterday is like, oh, that's an easy catch. But what's he thinking? I have to make this catch. Our offense has been really bad the last couple of weeks. I got to do this. And he's not thinking about catching it right off of his hands. They're all sped up because they're thinking that they should be better than they are. And the leader
Yeah.
of the team, the captain of the team, is not helping them by any way, shape, or form. Like he's sinking the ship, Buck style. Like it's a very bad situation right now for them.
No, I
It
think
ain't
I
getting
think
better either.
you said Keyshawn made that point or Booger.
I thought it was Booger. I thought it was Booger this
Okay.
morning.
No, I think that's a good point because like while we watch these guys play on Sunday, they make millions of dollars. It's still a game. And if the expectations through the roof Super Bowl and you're 3-3 and your quarterback's flipping out and there's all this crap around your team, it becomes at some point not fun, right? And things that are routine that you should just do immediately, like that catch, at some point it's just going to be so in your head. And I'm with Booger on that. I don't know. The writings on the wall this season, like granted, the NFC South is a complete
Oh,
dumpster fire, but do I think the Bucks will still make the playoffs? They'll probably still win that division, but
yes.
if they win it and they make the playoffs, there's not a lot of hope because they can't run the ball, and Tom Brady cannot get out of the pocket, and that pocket is going to collapse under any pressure. So,
Yep.
all right, so
Nobody
we
coming to
already
save him
killed
either.
one quarterback. You want to kill another one?
Yeah, man. Get Aaron Rodgers off the stupid microphone. Like I am just overhearing his monotone RELAX, guys. Relax. Kind of like when you went on your what was the vacation that you went on? With
I was
nature.
vibing.
Vibing with nature.
You would
Like he's
like
been
that.
vibing for yeah, I did, but I didn't like it for 3 fucking years, right? And like this is what we're getting with Aaron right now where again, the blame is not on Aaron. We keep hearing it's the wide receivers dropping passes. It's Aaron Jones not running the way that he's supposed to. It's the defensive line not getting the pressure. Their secondary is not as good as we thought it was. Savage ain't a real Savage. No, Aaron Rodgers, you keep saying that he's the guy. He's the most talented quarterback in the history of the NFL. Make your team better. And right now, with your record set up, and you got all these other teams that want to bite on your heels, like look too far, and all of a sudden the Vikings are better than you. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna play them one. All it takes is for them to clip you one game, and now you are the wild card team playing in the divisional round. Like they got to get their shit together because it doesn't look good. And I'm just sick of seeing his nonchalant, like I don't really care to be here style of offense. Granted, the loss of Devontae Adams, huge, changed that team completely. But you can't let a wide receiver be the reason why your entire franchise goes down in the dumps because they look awful right now.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of is it his fault, directly, right? He still acknowledged, knowingly took that giant contract, and he knew what the ramifications were going to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be able to re-sign Devontae Adams once Aaron Rodgers gets that extension, and they're not going to bring in marquee free agents. So, I mean, he is partially responsible for all of the collapse, even if he's still playing at a high level. And the interesting thing is we talked about Tua and how he's progressed as far as a yards per attempt statistic goes. Aaron Rodgers, I think, ranks in the bottom third as far as air yards per attempt, somewhere around 25. So it's just showing that he is unwilling to push the ball. I don't know if it's because his wide receivers stink or he doesn't trust them.
Trust.
Right. It's going to be a lot of checkdowns. I still think their defense should be okay. I know that hasn't been super good this year, but they should, on paper, with the guys they have a good defense. And I love their run game once they get it going. I still think they can probably get this thing together and be a playoff team, albeit the wild card. But again, it's like the Bucks. I feel like if either of these teams make the playoffs, you don't feel strongly about their prospects moving forward.
Yeah, I know you say you care about the running game. That they have a two-headed horse back there with Dillon and Jones.
Yep.
12 carries
I don't know
between
why
the
they get
two of
away
them.
from that. Yeah, I don't know
because
what's going on.
because it's supposed to be the Aaron Rodgers show, and I don't want to. They lost to the Commanders. Like that's that's in it itself. Taylor Heineke was the quarterback at the time.
The Green Lizard.
Yeah. So again, I bashed, you know, I bashed Rodgers as much as I could. You bashed Brady as much as you could. We can move on for something else because those two names are just really annoying to talk about now.
All right, yeah. I mean, there's like one or two more things I wanted to throw out there. Did you want to touch on the Giants? Because I was interested when I was looking up stats today. When I pulled up those Tua stats, there is
Mhm.
an interesting stat on I think is like Pro Football Focus or one of those stat driven websites, and it's called game winning drives.
Mhm.
Right, so it's basically if you're a quarterback and you within like the last 5 minutes, your team goes on a drive and you're the quarterback to take the lead in a ball game. And Daniel Jones, I think they would played 7 games so far. It's week 7. I don't think they have a bye yet. Of their 7 games, of their 6 wins, he has 5 game winning drives, which is bananas. The next second, the number is, but it's 3. So he has 2 more than the next player, which is bananas. I don't know if that's a Daniel Jones thing because I know the stat goes to him, but it's more of a Saquon thing. I still don't believe in this Giants, but you're trying to tell me that I'm wrong, right?
Look, you have to look about the actual proof. The proof is in the pudding, right? And 8 weeks in, coming into week 8, they've already had their bye. They're 5-1. That
Oh, my
is
bad. I missed the game. Okay. So
no, you're good. You're good.
all of their wins, then all of their wins are from game winning
They're
drives.
another 6-1. They're 6-1. They haven't had their bye yet.
Oh, I was right. All right.
It was Philly. Philly's had their bye. That's what it was. That NFC East. What I mean by that is like there's pretenders and there's contenders, and right now they're showing the ability to. He's showing his dual threat ability, where he's running in situations that people forget that he's actually kind of fast, and that's helping them significantly in the backfield. They're handing it off to Saquon. We said he was going to have a monster year. They don't have an actual number 1 wide receiver, and they just lost their tight end. I know that he got poked in the eye. It was a really bad one too.
That was
But
crazy, dude.
yeah, it didn't look good. That's why people wear visors.
He's
But
I saw an update on that tight end who got poked in the eye. He
Bellinger,
might miss the rest of the season, like because
yeah, it looked awful.
his orbital bone got shattered.
Just talking
So
about it
like
makes my eyes water.
the bone that holds your eye in was shattered by
Yeah.
someone poking it.
Ugh, that's just terrible. And I remember when I saw it happen, I was just like, "Ooh, that looked ugly." But their defense is again playing decent. They're keeping them in games, and the fact that I brought it up, I think it was last week too. He's not turning the ball over. Danny's not dropping dimes all over the place, dropping dimes. But he's not turning the ball over late in games. That was a huge Achilles heel for him in the previous years. And they got Saquon healthy. It's just a recipe for success right now. So I'm not going to say that they're a full contender, but I'm not ready to put them in the pretenders category either. 1/3 through their season and they're 6-1. So like unless they go on like an actual stinker of like dropping 4 in a row, which I just don't see that happening. They could end up in next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, 8 wins. Now you're literally 2 wins away from being a playoff team. So anything could happen. I also
Yeah,
wanted to bring up go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna make a comment that it's crazy because this I don't know who the scheduling gods really love the Giants, but they have such a soft schedule for the next at least no, the rest of the season. It's really, really soft. So they're definitely gonna make a play at the playoffs. Like I don't doubt that at all. They are playoff teams. I don't know if it's sustainable to be in these dog fights every week and pull off these one possession victories. Granted, like it's a good trait to have if your team can fight for what is it, 60 minutes and pull off a win at late. Like that's a great trait to have. But just when you're in the playoffs and you have to win 3 or 4 games straight to be a Super Bowl champion, you're going to get caught in one of those games, right? So, especially if you get to the point where you're playing a Bills or a Chiefs, you have to put up some serious points on the board. I just don't see them being a team to be concerned about going all the way, right? Like, are they for real a playoff team? Sure, but are they going to make me consider them as a Super Bowl champion? Nah, not at all.
Like I said, I'm not ready to put them in the contender, but I don't want to put them in pretender either. They're kind of middling. But if you talked about close games and pulling off wins, we saw this happen last year. Team made it to the Super Bowl. they almost pulled it off in the
I
Super Bowl
know.
too. The Cincinnati Bengals. So it's like it builds character, builds steel, iron sharpens iron, and if they continue playing these style of games, it does kind of prepare them for. There's usually no blowouts. You know what I mean? I think last season was the first, and no, last season was all one possession games, right? Was that the thing? There was no blowouts in last season's playoffs. The most exciting
They're
playoffs in like
close.
the history
They're
of the
close.
NFL. They were all close games coming down, and like if you can prove that you can do it in the regular season, it can translate. Again, I'm not putting them on the
Right.
Eli Manning train for a Super Bowl. I'm just saying we gotta give respect the same way that we gave. I said give respect to Jalen and the boys in Philly. We got to start doing it for those guys up in New York, both sides. You know, New York. I mean, the
I
Jets and
respect the
Giants.
Jets. I'm pro
Yeah,
Jets.
hey, they're young. They're young, and I wish I could show my my monitor, my desktop, because I'm actually I was the Jets in one of my Madden franchise online franchises with like 8 of us. I picked the Jets, won the Super Bowl, so I have a picture of. I changed his name, but it's actually Zach Wilson holding a Super Bowl trophy, which is hilarious. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm just saying, I think it's hilarious. But I mean, that's probably for Higgins to be very happy about that. I think that the Jets can be pretty decent this year.
Just one last thing on the topic of the Giants. Like I know you keep bringing back the Bengals of last year to be like, hey, there are teams that can win these close one-score games and still be successful making the Super Bowl. But it's like comparing apples to oranges. We believe in those Bengals, that Bengals offense, albeit their O line's shaky, but we believe in those weapons. Can you say you believe in a single outside of Saquon,
No,
a single person of that offense?
no, not at all. I
See,
like I said, I get it. I get it. I'm not a Giants fan. I'm not a
oh yeah,
fanatic.
yeah.
I'm not there to put them in the pretender. I'm not there to put them in the contender yet. They're kind of just like in the middle, trying to figure out what the hell to do with themselves.
All right,
But
let's
they can
talk
fall
about
into
the Jets
playoff.
because Higgins is here. He's a big Jets fan, and I don't know if you
Mhm.
saw the news that broke like half an hour ago. They obviously lost Brees Hall, who was trending towards Rookie of the Year, but within the last half hour, they made a trade to pick up Hoodie.
Last trade came in was my apologies. I just had
James
it and then I got
Robinson, I
rid of
got
James
you.
Robinson from Chicago. Sorry, I mean from Jacksonville. I know we were talking
Yes.
about it. I even wrote it down. My bad.
So yeah, James Robinson's going from Jacksonville to the Jets to kind of bolster that backfield because the Jets want to be a run first team, in their heart. And I liked Michael Carter to begin with. I thought he's a good running back. He was good last year. Obviously, Brees Hall is better, but to have Carter and now James Robinson as a two-headed monster, I still really like the Jets' chances to be successful, make the playoffs, and even potentially win that division.
I feel better about. Yeah, I'm not ready to do that yet.
Why not? Though? Like,
But
why not? Why not us?
yeah, right. What I will say is I feel better about the Jets right now than I did at 6 o'clock yesterday because when Brees Hall got hurt, I was like, ah, like I even said it off air, like Zach Wilson is doing the things that he's doing the things to not lose the game. He's not putting the team on his shoulders. Let everybody else do it. And that's what Brees Hall was doing. Brees Hall was the bell cow to take the pressure off of Zach Wilson, allowing that defense and Quinn Williams to be absolutely problem in the middle. And when he went down, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't trust that backfield now. But adding Robinson in there, now you can split the time. You know, Carter isn't a 30 touch running back. He can get 15 to 20, and then you can split it with Robinson, get the other 15 to 20. So, like, that's why I think that they should still be okay.
Now I want to stomp on Higgins' dreams. Zach Wilson is giving me serious Mark Sanchez vibes.
Oh, no.
Like
But that defense ain't as good. Don't do that. That defense ain't as good. I'm not seeing
everyone was
Jets
all
make an
about the
AFC
Sanchez.
championship.
Remember how pumped everyone was about the Sanchez in New York,
Hey, man,
especially
I
when they
was a
beat
USC guy back then.
Art
Not, I didn't
Scott.
root for them, but I
What
wanted them
was
to
Art
win.
Scott famous line after they beat the
Oh,
Patriots?
can't wait. Poetic justice.
I'm
Everybody
getting
can be beat.
I'm getting vibes
We
of
got to
those
play that
Jets
sound
teams.
one day.
Because like I know I like the Jets roster right top to bottom. I don't believe in Zach Wilson. I think mostly that run game, the coaching, scheming up some guys. I think that's propelling him to the success. I think we're looking at another Sanchez where like he's a decent quarterback. He's got a good stuff around him. I just don't see Zach Wilson as being like the franchise elevator, which is fine. Like you don't have to. Not everyone has to be Aaron
Flacco won a
Rodgers.
Super Bowl.
Not everyone has to be you know that type of guy. So it's fine. I think I'm finally figuring out who Zach Wilson is. It's Mark Sanchez.
Time will tell. I'm not gonna say that, bro. I'm not gonna put that hex on him. It's actually not a bad thing, as much as people want to call Sanchez trash. He might have been the reason. Yeah, but I mean, he was definitely the reason why they didn't win the Super Bowl.
I have a question about that. Now that we're here on Mark Sanchez,
we've talked so much Jets in the last 2 months.
Because I mean, that's our demo, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
but Mark Sanchez, do you think if it wasn't for the butt fumble, would people remember him in a better light? Because he wasn't that bad, but the butt fumble ruined his
ruined his life. That was Thanksgiving, right? Was it Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Oh God, it was around the holidays, like the Christmas holidays.
I think it was Thanksgiving, which made it worse.
Oh no, what's Thanksgiving? I don't know. Yeah.
It was a nationally televised night game.
National.
And it just happened to be him running into the buttocks of his center. And it wasn't even, it was worse that it was just a fumble. They brought it back for a touchdown. It's like everything that could have possibly gone wrong went wrong in that situation. I was like, oh, man, I'm sorry.
Last week we had a conversation about Draymond that led us into making our Frizz's 5 for this week, which we're doing next, by the way. So hang in there.
Yes.
But I feel like we have something here for another Frizz's 5. Maybe not next week, because next week we're going to do Halloween theme. The week after, I want the top 5 moments in sports history that like negatively define someone's career. Like they're always associated with this bad moment. Like, so like a moment that people like stain their legacy. Like, so for example, Dan Orlovsky, when I hear that name, I just think about him running out the end zone. So like something shitty that someone did that just defines them as a person after that. Like, say Ty Lue when Kobe stepped over him. Another one when Kobe stepped over Ty Lue.
Kobe was they were on the same team. It was Allen Iverson. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's like they were on the same team. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, exactly. That's gonna be hard to try to find, but I like it. It's gonna
collaborate on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to do some digging on that one, but I like it.
All right. Do you want any more football stuff before we head into the Frizz's 5?
I think we can go into it.
Yeah, do this.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it.
Prepare yourselves for the greatest and most unique segment in podcast history. Let's rank some stuff with D. It's time for Frizz's 5.
Whew. All right. So
last week we had a conversation about Draymond and about the punch, and it somehow got to Malice in the Palace. And we got into talking about a Frizz's 5 of what, D?
So you are going to hear Frizz's top 5 sports fights of all time. Of all time. Give him the 5. Give him the 5.
I want to do like the Booker T 5 time.
I should do that, right? 5 time. But no. And remember, it's not your top 5. It's my top 5. Hey, the way we're going to play this too, I didn't rank because the fight itself wasn't good. So if you guys are expecting the Malice in the Palace to be in the top 5, it's not.
Definitely isn't. No. We have to stop the music.
Nope.
I have to stop. Malice in the Palace is not your top 5.
The fights that I chose were actual player versus player fights. That was not a fight from amongst players. That was Ben Wallace getting pissed off at Ron Artest before he was Meta World Peace. That wasn't even a fight. If you guys get the chance, definitely put this one. This one will go on social media. It'll go on Twitter because I want you guys to do your research on this one if you haven't seen the fights. Because for me, number 5, granted, it was a football one, and you typically don't see football fights happen very often. AJ Green versus Jalen Ramsey. I don't know if you remember this, but it was Ramsey when he was with the Jaguars. Obviously, it was very early in his career, and he was chirping him the whole game. Got up underneath his shoulder pads, and then he pushed him. Jalen Ramsey pushed AJ Green. He walked over to him and put him in a headlock, and then swung him down and tackled him. And then obviously that's when the fisticuffs happened. I think AJ Green got in one hit, but the helmet was on. It was a solid fight where another dude just came in and jumped on the back of AJ Green. It was a good fight from football because there usually isn't good ones, obviously. But the headlock, again, to me, I thought the shit was hilarious. So I'd say that for me, that was a great fight for me to watch.
I got to look that one up afterwards, but it sounds great. All right, what's number 4, D?
Number 4, we're going basketball with this one. And just because he's the little man, I like that he got in a couple of punches. He even threw a man into the crowd. Nate Robinson versus J.R. Smith. You may not be familiar with this one, but it was Knicks and Nuggets. I think it was J.R. Smith was going up for a layup. Nate Robinson gave him a little bear hug because the Knicks were blowing him out. And it was like, all right, that was a terrible foul. Nate Robinson gets all up in his face, and JR pushes him. This man literally grappled him, threw him into the crowd, and slammed him on a fan. Nate Robinson's 5'5", and he just picked him up and threw him into the crowd. Went absolute thug nasty. For basketball, with it not being punches thrown, I thought that was hilarious because it's a little dude taking on somebody that's 6'6", and he literally slammed him into the crowd.
Yo, J.R. Smith has one of the most interesting careers I've ever witnessed. Like his whole career arc, from his earlier days to the time with LeBron, the meme of LeBron pointing, and now it's college golf now. Go figure.
College golf and a D1 school. But yes, great fight. Again, these are the type of things that I want you guys to YouTube, Google it after because they're great fights. They're going to be on social media. Number 3, I'm pretty sure everybody saw this one. Joey Bats versus Rubnet Odor. You don't sound like you look like you know it. So
I remember this one.
I'll revamp this one. You thought the punch from Draymond to what's the name? Pooh was clean.
Oh, I remember this
slides into second base. Yeah, Joey Bats gets up and he's like, yo, man, what's the deal? And he pushes him. He goes, nah. He absolutely clocks him. The glasses go flying off. The chain goes swinging. And then obviously it's the big brawl with baseball. And but that punch was clean. One of the cleanest punches I have. His eyes rolled back and his toes curled. And then at the end, they were just like, oh, he didn't affect me. It's like, nah, brother, you were seeing stars for a quick second because he got you clean. Your whole face was shifted.
I got so many honorable mentions. This
is tough. I'm not gonna lie, because fights happen all the time. They don't happen as often as they used to, back in the 90s and 80s in sports, and that's where this one is going. For all you old heads that used to watch these type of games, I couldn't even rank them, so I just put the teams: the Heat versus the Knicks back in the 90s. Now, I don't know if you've seen these fights, but one of them was Larry Johnson versus Alonzo Mourning. This one was nice because it was, I think the Knicks were up in the playoffs. It was literally the Eastern Conference Finals or go ahead.
Is this the Knicks team with Ewing and Oakley?
Yep.
Those are some bad boys.
Larry Johnson, after he was done playing with Alonzo Mourning in Charlotte, so they had bad blood. The first fight was, I think Larry Johnson had clipped him when the Knicks were already winning. And Zoe was trying to get the rebound, and he pushed him. Lonzo Mourning, all Will Smith looking ass. He literally 7-footer, pow, got him clean. And then LJ came around with his. And back in the 90s, they didn't really throw people out, so they were swinging haymakers. Those some big ass dudes. And then the next year they did it again, but it was Oakley and Alonzo. No, it was Oakley and Mourning, and that's the one where Stan Van Gundy's grabbing on the
ankle,
Charles
yes.
Oakley. Yeah, and he's being dragged by NBA players because they're all 6'8", 200 pounds. He's fucking dragging them across the ground. And I think later on in that series, another one, big throwback name, PJ Brown. And that team was PJ Brown, Jamal Mashburn, Tim Hardaway, Alonzo Mourning, Eddie Jones. That team was deep, right? And PJ Brown got boxed out from, I want to say it was Chris Childs. He fucking German suplexed him into the crowd. He literally grabbed him by his waist and flipped him over his shoulder into the crowd. It's how do you get better fights to that, man? The 90s, I'm all for it. Yeah. But the number one fight for me, hands down, give me my drum roll, please. Andre Johnson versus Cortland Finnegan.
I like that one.
You want to talk about a clean fight? This was it. This was the little pest. Cortland Finnegan was good for a half a season when he was in Tennessee, and it was this season. Obviously, interdivision rivals, and Andre Johnson was in his prime at this time. He's still 6'3", 220 pounds. The Megatron before Megatron. Dude was a fucking monster. Cortland Finnegan got under his skin, pestered, blocking him underneath the chin strap. And then one play, he got him right here. And Andre was like, all right, enough of being Mr. Nice Guy. And the big thing about football fights, it's whoever gets the helmet off first wins. And he was like, yep. Grabbed his helmet, threw it off, gave him a nice little punch right across the top of his head, and then gave him an uppercut on his chin. It's like that fight right there, because they both got at it, obviously. And, Cortland gets up swinging his hands like, nah, bro, you just got your ass beat by a 6'4", 200-pounder that was sick of your shit. Cut it out. And then he literally was off the face of the earth after that, because people were like, we're not going to have this on my team. So I think that fight, for most football fights that usually don't happen, that was a good one, because they both got their helmets off and they both were able to swing.
I meant that as in that was, people saw like, oh, that's a fight. Like that went down.
Yep. Exactly.
Career after that too. His career went south fast after that.
He got old quick. He was a possession wide receiver that was 6'4", and the game got really quick. So he fizzled out. Not that he wasn't a great talent. He's just a big dude, and the league went very small after that.
So 3, I'm obviously very disappointed we didn't have Malice in the Palace, just because
it's not
I was thinking most chaos. Well, if there's a fan got,
if you want chaos, then yeah, that's different. That's chaos. Right, but that's not player versus player.
So much fun. I want to see fans get punched in the face. I don't care what they say. It's amazing. I mean, as long as it's not me. And first of all, why are you throwing a beer at Ron Artest? It's your fault getting punched in the face. Although, you know what's up?
He punched the wrong guy. He went after the wrong guy. Yeah. Steven Jackson got the right guy.
Have you seen the documentary? They have an hour-long documentary, The Mouse in the Palace. And it's good. And then some dude got decked on the floor by Ron Artest as well. And he's trying to say, I was just walking the floor. I wasn't trying to fight anyone.
That's the guy that got punched by Jermaine O'Neal.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Artest got him. No, Artest got him. Artest got him. They pulled him off, and then the dude was on the ground. He got up, and that's when O'Neal came and did the slide punch. He's like, nah, stay the fuck down. And he knocked his shit out.
You know the best part of that story?
What's up?
So after everything went down and they got everyone off the court, you obviously know Ron Artest is a nutcase, Meta World Peace. They're all sitting in the locker room, looking down, hands on their knees, and their on their thighs, just like, damn, that just happened. Ron Artest walks in, sits down with everyone, puts his hand on his knees, looks at everyone, and just goes, "You guys think we're gonna get in trouble for that?" And they're just like, they're like, "Bro, are you serious?" That's Ron Artest for you. Had no idea what
league. No, yeah, and that situation is just ugly. I'm all for chaos and nonsense, but that got bad. There's some big athletes. They are 6'6". People don't realize. People want to test them. That little bitch that tested. I keep cursing, but it's fight season. But that little punk that tested our test on Sunday. I think it might have been Sunday. Yeah, you didn't hear about this. What they're doing to Russie is wrong. We're going to segue into basketball for a brief minute, obviously. But he was leaving from the court to the to the locker room, and all you hear is, "Yeah, go Russ, let's go Russ, let's go Russ." And the same guy that's saying, "Let's go Russ," goes, "Westbrook, you fucking suck." And he walks through the locker room, and then I got to say that. He has his phone out. Westbrook came back and was just like, "What'd you say?" And it's silent. Dead silent. No. What'd you say? And you can hear the people around him like, "It was this guy. It was this guy." And he's just like, "Yeah, I know. What did you say?" And he's like, "I know. We love you, Westbrook." And I was like, full bitch mode, man. How you about to say that? And then when he gets there, you clam up. That's what's wrong with this world now, is everybody's stuck behind their phone, their keyboard warriors.
Tell him.
I ain't messing with 6'3", 200-pound Russell Westbrook. You got a problem if you think that you're the average size American and you're 5'7", 100, maybe 200 pounds because you drink too goddamn much. But he knock you out. If you're not gonna say it on the street, don't say it in the game. There's heckling and then there's stupidness. That's how I feel about those type of things.
Yeah, Russell's one of those people that I definitely don't want to get on his bad side, because he seems a little crazy. Get him going.
He might jump into somebody's crowd. You keep messing with that boy.
Not a fight, but I thought Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph was worth a mention. It wasn't a fight.
That was up there. Yeah, man. And again, he got his helmet off. What's his name? Mason Rudolph tried to pull his helmet off, and he failed unsuccessfully. And because of that, he got clocked. And then when he got clocked, he tried to complain "Yo, he hit me with the helmet." It's what did you think he was going to do when you were trying to hit him and he had your helmet in his hand? I would not approach the man with a helmet in his hand. Like, clunk. Like, that's just your stupidity.
The last one, I think, is the most dangerous of all the fights. Of all, Malice in the Palace pales in comparison to this. And it's because of one thing. It involves Aqib Talib. And I do not want to cross Aqib Talib. He's a crazy man. He will probably shoot you. And when he and Michael Crabtree back in 2017 were battling, and Talib grabbed that man's chain. When you snatch a man's chain and rip it off, bro, you just stole that man's soul.
Disrespectful.
And Crabtree not only kind of took it like a bitch, but the next time they played, he tape the chain to his chest so he couldn't grab the chain off.
He taped it to his shoulder
and
pads.
You know damn well Aqib Talib's like, nah, I'm gonna take that chain.
I'm gonna do it again, and he did. Smashed it again.
Yo, Aqib Talib's the baddest.
That was up there. That was up there for me to try to get it into the top 5, but they weren't actual fights. They were just moments of like he did it and like they grappled each other. And then Crabtree did that block and he blocked him out of bounds and threw him down. And I was like, all right, that's technically just like a block.
I got another potential Frizz 5 in the future. Just hear me out on this one. Top 5 former football players that you don't want none of this from. Aqib Talib, Pac-Man Jones, Steve Smith from the Carolina Panthers. No, don't want none of that. Marshawn Lynch, don't want none of that.
You barking up the wrong tree. You just gave away the 5 right there. But yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah, you don't want the smoke with that guy.
Who was that wide receiver who shot himself in the leg? Probably none of that either. Remember back in the club back in the day?
Yeah, Plexico Burst. Breaking news, just for you guys to know, Zappy came in 4 for 4 through a touchdown pass.
Let's go, Zap. Is it Zappy time?
Is it? I'm just saying. We said it here. We said it here. He's the better quarterback. We got to talk basketball for a little bit, but this is for next week. This is definitely for next week. We're going to talk about some Patriots next week. Supermarket Tees, we're going to talk about some Patriots next week for goddamn sure.
If you're Mac Jones, you better be praying that this doesn't go, because I know they were losing 10-0. If they come back and win and Zappy drives them to a win, you better hope that doesn't happen if you're Mac Jones, because you're not getting that job back.
Pack your bags.
I love it. All right, let's get into the NBA. I feel like we talked NFL for way too long, but it was good. It was some good talk. Let's just start with the Lakers being trash. That's it. They're trash. Do you want to go into? You want me to tell you why they're trash, or do you want to tell me why? Because I've watched a little bit of Lakers now.
Yeah, 0-3. There's not much to defend. They are exactly who we thought they were. I still think they're going to finish 6th seed just outside of the play-in because of the LeBron factor. But they are in a rough way. I think the stat was like 19 for 90 from 3.
They're bad, dude. Like outside of the top 2, LeBron and AD. Here's the thing: outside of LeBron and AD, they got really nothing. And I don't think when they won the title in 2020, I would probably say LeBron was a top 3 player in the league. AD was a top 10, like 5-10 range, somewhere in there. Pick your poison. Right now, the 2022 version, LeBron's top 12.
No, he dropped 40. Give me a break.
Somewhere between 12 and like 5, depending on the day. AD is probably around 15 to 20 at this point, right? So they have taken steps back as far as their production, and that roster around them is so much worse. And it stinks that they have Westbrook, because I think Westbrook's bad, but not as bad as he's been for the Lakers. And I watched the end of the Portland game, and it's so sad the way they guard him. Do you know who was guarding Westbrook? You know, because you watched it.
Nurkic.
They put Nurkic on Westbrook, and he just sat in the paint and said, okay, whatever. And he wouldn't. He's nothing they can do about it. Their roster, number one, it's poorly constructed. Sorry to cut you off. And number 2, their third best player, in my opinion, maybe is Lonnie Walker the 4th. It's really dire.
It's not only just that; it's Chicago just do a pick too. Not only is it the roster, the Lakers have lost the fear factor of LeBron James, and the Lakers have lost the fear factor, and they are the butt of everybody's jokes now. meaning you see the memes, you see the videos of AD catching the pass in the corner and Nurkic looking at him and being like, I'm not covering you. Let me get this rebound. And then he dunks it off the side of the backboard. And then same thing with the end of the game. 29 seconds left, 20 seconds on the shot clock. Russell Westbrook, AD and LeBron have barely crossed half court. And he pulls up from mid-range while they're winning. Like, everybody was just like, you got to be kidding me. I listened to it on the LA network. So, like, I listened to the LA announcers. Even they were just like, Westbrook, no. Westbrook, what are you? Oh, like the disappointment of like, this is just out of hand right now. Nobody fears them. Nobody cares about the legacy. Nobody, like, there are rookies that will go after LeBron right now because they don't care. It's just, that's the type of league that they're in. They made their bed. They sleep in.
It's like if you're young and you see LeBron, you know he's taking a step back athletically. Get your clout. Dunk on LeBron.
Yeah,
get your clout.
Yep, absolutely.
I do have a question as far as the Lakers, because you are a Lakers fan. You've been a Lakers fan for a long time. I know what my answer would be, but my question to you is, what do you want them to do? Like, if you were the GM today, if you were Pelinka, what would you do today?
Make the playoff. Oh, you mean like transaction?
As far as your team, like the roadmap, what is the roadmap as a GM? Like, what is your roadmap?
Is to not be in the play-in. You need to get rid of Westbrook, not even for whatever you think the value it is, just what it's doing to the team. And it's not his fault. You just have to get rid of him so that he's.
You're gonna have to give up assets. You realize that, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to give up a draft pick. You're gonna have to give up your whatever first rounder that you have in 2026. You have to do it. You have to move him for something that's going to translate into a shooter. They missed out on Buddy Hield. They missed out on an actual package for Kuzma, KCP, and Harrell. Like, they got Westbrook out of it. It's not working. It's never going to work out, unfortunately. And again, it's not his fault. It's just the team is constructed of all the same players, slashers that can't shoot. And they need somebody, Austin Reeves and Walker and the kid that came from Talon Horton Tucker from Golden State are their shooters. They can't shoot on the broadside of a barn. Like, literally, they're shooting less than 20% from three. It's just bad.
So I'm glad you gave that answer, because I am going to put my GM hat on and do something completely different. And I heard this alluded to on the Low Post podcast. He hinted to potentially this might be a scenario. If you're the Lakers, you going into the next year, as things stand today, will have $50 million of cap room if you do nothing, because you're going to lose the Westbrook contract, and basically you're going to be returning LeBron, AD, and one other random player, maybe like Austin Reeves. So you have a completely empty roster. You can do whatever you want to rebuild, and put together pieces around LeBron that actually fit. If I'm the Lakers, I know you're like, we got to maximize LeBron's prime. I just bite the bullet this year, suck, because if you trade away Westbrook, you're going to trade away assets, right? You're going to trade away picks. Get Westbrook's contract off the books, let it expire. Bring in a couple guys, maybe like I know Draymond is rumored to want to go there. Maybe bring in like 2 veteran guys who can help you win, like a Draymond, but it doesn't help your shooting situation. But my point being that you'll get the flexibility next year, bite the bullet this year, save your draft picks, and then use them as capital next year. Because if you try to rush into something this year, what's the best case scenario? You burn your assets and maybe make the 7 seed. Like, it's not worth it.
The problem is they're not going to do that. I get that that's like an angle.
It makes more sense though. Like,
yeah, but they would have kept their younger stars if that was their route. They're not a patiently waiting team. They want results right now. They're the Lakers, the same way that the Yankees do their buy as much as they possibly can. The same way that the Dodgers do. True, but like, they'll pay the luxury tax. The Buss family has no problem with doling out the money for that type of stuff. They are a team that wants results now, not wait for it, which is why they got AD in the first place and why they're in the situation. They got the championship out of it. They're going to be in the situation, cap or no cap, for the next 5 years. I say until LeBron's gone. That's what this is. This is going to be your future for the next 2 to 3 years until LeBron is out of there.
I do have some bad news for you. If you finish a shitty record this year, you don't own your pick, man. The Pelicans.
Of anything. It's
have a pick
2026.
swap.
I'm pretty sure their next first round pick, which is what I'm saying. The assets don't mean anything. I think their next first round pick isn't until 2026.
I know. Well, the assets don't mean anything, but the point is that are you going to burn the asset now to make a move for this year where it doesn't look good anyways, or should you retool next year, then burn the asset next year, and then have a better chance of actually competing? Because right now, even if they make a move, I just don't think it's worth it.
No, nothing's gonna get them higher than a 6 seed. Nothing. Literally no move in the NBA.
All right, let's move on to a team with the opposite fortune, right? Because the Lakers are sitting at 0-3. Let's talk about the Celtics because we are, based in New England and we have a lot of Celtics fans. We
You
all
are.
thought, well, I mean, I am, but you are from area as well. Um, but we both had them as like a top 2 seed, and they have yet to disappoint. They're 3-0 right now. Obviously, the two Jays are phenomenal. I think they're probably both averaging somewhere around 27 points a game. They've been great the first 3 games. The teams looked really good, but we did talk before the show. Like there are some signs and things to be concerned about, right?
Yeah, defense is one of them. Granted, they don't have Rob Williams. There's gonna be some time until he comes back. I talked about the coaching part of it, where those tougher games, where scheming matters and getting the most out of your players matters. They're doing it again tonight, where they're giving up, more points to the Bulls than any other team has in the NBA. So it's like they have off nights, and if they're going to be, this isn't a hater talk. This is literally just realism talk. If you're going to be the team that you want to be in the Eastern Conference, that the conference is tough. Like you can't have slip nights. You can't have slip nights against bad teams. Granted, they did beat the Magic. They gave up 100 points in 3 quarters to the Magic. I know they have a very tough matchup because that's your team, but you just can't. That's the type of stuff that you just can't get away with, especially in the middle of, let's say, December, January, right before the All-Star break, when people don't want to play, and those teams that are not really, they don't care about where they're going to finish in the season. Those are the teams that clip you. That's how you drop from the 2 to the 3 or 4 seed like that. And I think the Ime factor will probably kick in later in the season than it is right now.
Yeah, I think like the biggest cause of concern is, and you saw that in the first game against the 76ers, but it didn't bite them in the ass, is they have huge depth issues at the moment at the big position. The first game, I think within, I don't know, 6 minutes, they had to send Al Horford to the bench because he had, I don't know, 2 or 3 fouls already. And without Time Lord until early December at the best, they're going to be really thin at the center power forward position. They're right now, they're counting on guys like Luke Cornett and Noah Vonleh to fill minutes. And granted, it's worked in the small sample size, but long term, you're going to keep seeing these big scores against the Celtics, and that's not what their bread and butter is, right? They want to be a defensive first team. I think they can figure it out. Like, I'm not overly concerned if I'm a Celtics fan, only because your hope is that Time Lord comes back before Christmas and he looks good, he feels good. And that by the time the buyout market and the trade deadline hits, there are going to be a lot of sellers, because we talked in the previous episodes that this draft class is one that's very desirable. So there's going to be those bottom 8 teams tanking like crazy. So you're going to have opportunity to get some help come the deadline, come the buyout. They have the superstars in place. Their system still looks like it works offensively, at least. I still like the Celtics to come out of the East. I'm not too concerned, but I also acknowledge that there are some flaws in this team.
Yeah, I'm not writing them off. They literally can only do 2 things. They can be better than they were last year and they win the NBA Finals, or they can be worse than they were last year and they take a step backwards and miss the NBA Finals. Like their ceiling is already high enough. There's really only 2 outcomes. So it's not like us saying that they have, I guess, like kinks in the armor. It's not really like saying that they're going to be bad. It just means they literally only have 2 options right now, and that's either win a championship or don't win a championship. And right now, even though they're 3-0, there are parts of me that looks at the games that I have seen and the styles of play that they played. Like something's going to bite them in the ass, and I think it's going to be later in the season when they realize that they don't have their coach helping them out in those tougher games, especially if they don't have the defense to clips it with it.
Can I just take a sec? Can I just get the ball and go ISO and just have some Magic talk really quick?
Yeah, go ahead. All you, bro. That's the Kobe. RIP. get the hell out the way. Let me ISO him. He did that to LeBron and fucking tortured him for 40. But yeah, all
They
you, bro.
look,
The mic is yours. Go Magic.
I'm a Magic fan. They look like they're about to go 0-4 right now, but like this is a really good 0-4 team. I feel super optimistic.
Hold on. Wait. I'm gonna give you your ISO moment. I could have gone without knowing the record. I didn't know that they were 0-3, about to go 0-4.
Yeah, they're
You
losing to the
set
Knicks
that
right
up
now.
like there was a lot more pride and a lot
Well,
more
let me get to this.
expectation.
Like,
Finish your point, but the fact that you started that they're gonna start 0-4,
we're
I
probably
wasn't
going to start
expecting that. You caught me
0-7.
off guard.
We'll probably go
Go ahead
0-8
though.
too. That's fine. We're going to tank for Victor Wembanyama. But no, I think for a team like this, like the goal is to see, do we have some young guys we can build around? And I feel super optimistic. They have their number 1 overall pick, Paulo Banchero. Did not know what to expect out of him. I'm always a little harder than Duke guys. This kid's the real deal. He is 6'10", 250, moves like a small forward, can pass, he can do all the right things. Franz Wagner, no, not his brother Mo, who might not be in the league. He is developed to become like a point forward, really good. Wendell Carter looks good. I see all these guys. I'm like, these are real good NBA players, and they're just 1 or 2 players away, and they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And the cool thing about this team, right, D, is if you're a Celtics fan, you
Mhm.
just saw them play the Celtics. They have these super long lineups with Bobo, Wendell Carter, Mo Bamba, uh, Franz Wagner, and like Jalen Suggs, where the smallest guy is 6'5", and then the next tallest guy is, I don't know, like 6'10". So it's just a really fun, cool team. I'm telling you, they got a lot of good young players on this team. Of all the rebuilding teams, like like the Kings, your Pacers, all these other bottom feeders, I feel very positive about this team being the next year, the year after, like a team to be reckoned with. Telling you.
Yeah, always next year. Good news out of all of that you just spoke about, they're not ranked last in the Eastern Conference. That would be the Philadelphia 76ers. So there
Oh, you
is
want
some
to know?
momentum and positivity there. I don't want to get on the 76ers for that. I'm just saying, look, I like Bencaro. I really do. I'm not a Duke fan, but I liked watching him when he was there. I think he is the real deal. Writings on the wall that he'll be a Laker in 4 years. That's besides the point.
No.
I think they will have the same written playbook as the Thunder, as the I think the teams you had mentioned were the Kings, the Thunder, the Rockets, a lot of teams out west that are just very bad. I don't see them being like the Cavs. I really don't. There's a giant step that needs to happen, and that's the star factor. Banchero
I
can
think
try to
I
be
think
that star.
that star. I think he's that
It's not going
star.
to be right away though. That's the thing is he might be that kind of guy. He might be that type of player. It's going to
Years.
take him at least I was going to say it's going to take him at least 2 or 3 years for it, which is fine, but like you're also going to lose players in the middle of that time. Like, are you going to be able to keep Wagner like you were saying? Terrence
Oh, they
Ross is
will.
always a
So
journeyman.
the
Yeah.
thing is, in the NBA, you get your first 4 years under contract, and almost always they re-sign for that another 4 years. So you usually have a guy at least 8 years, give or
Except
take, if you want him and you're willing to pay them. So Franz, this is his second year, so I'm hoping like you get another 6 years out of him. Wendell Carter just resigned for 4 years, so we have the guys locked in long term. Just one sidetrack is I can I just drop an F bomb? I fucking hate Jonathan Isaac. He's the bane of my existence as a Magic fan.
He's such a waste of talent.
Do you know? I looked it up today. You know when the last time he played was?
Probably like 3 years ago.
The last time he played, just for point of reference, Tom Brady was preparing to play on the Titans as the Patriots in his last game.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 3 years, man.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what is going on with your
I see
leg?
his name all the time in every single video game when 2K drops, but he just doesn't play. So I don't get it. Very talented, big, obviously, when he's on the court, 6'10" with like a 7'7" wingspan. He can shoot from the outside. He's a great defender on the inside. It's just he's not on the court. The best ability is availability, and he never is.
I
So
don't
yeah,
think he even
they
wants to play, to be honest.
wouldn't be surprised. 3 years removed from the game is a lot. Like that's a very long time to be away from a team atmosphere, away from the actual game,
He
actual
also
like playing ball.
he's also busy promoting his book. He wrote a book about how he stands for the anthem. So
Oh,
he's a great
yeah,
guy.
I forgot that was a big thing.
That was him.
Yep.
But this segue, this awkward segue. I just want to point out
I'm glad you got your time, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with you talking about the Magic. They suck, but the Lakers
suck,
do too.
man. Whatever. We both have the same record. It's fine. But this rookie class, like, just really quick, is everyone was down in this rookie class coming in. Like, this is a weak rookie draft class, and the top 5 guys outside of like Chet, obviously, because he's injured, have been phenomenal. Like, this rookie class is surprisingly really good. We talked about Paulo. Jabari Smith struggling a little bit in Houston, but Houston's a mess. It's crazy. So Jabari's putting up like okay numbers. He's like what 15, 6 and 1 as his spread, but he's shooting 30%. They're just guns away there. But after that, Keegan Murray, Jaden Ivey, Benedict, not Cumberbatch, Benedict Mathurin. Guys are all scoring at least 18 points a game, 5 rebounds, couple assists, shooting in the 50s after the first 3 games. So I'm just saying, like, for those bottom feeding teams that we're talking about, the Magic, the Kings, the Pacers, positivity, because this draft class is looking way better than you thought it would be. You might have found a franchise player, and if you're going to get another guy in this upcoming draft that's supposed to be strong, we could see, give it 3 years, tides turn where all these top tier teams are at the bottom and bottom to the top.
Saw that with, I think it was the Kevin Durant draft. KD and Odom, right?
Yeah.
KD and Odom. Greg Oden. Wow. Lamar Odom, Greg Oden. That happened where Westbrook got drafted first. They were middle ground kind of thing, but like he's still a superstar in the making. And then they got KD right after. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Westbrook.
Odom went first.
No, I meant just in general though. Westbrook went to OKC first, and then they got KD.
I got you. Yeah,
like where you have a superstar in the making, kid out of UCLA, very firecracker, athletic point guard, and then you're like, oh, we have a star here, but like he can't get us over the hump because he's still young. And then you get KD. Now it's like, wow, we got 2 superstars in back-to-back drafts. That's where this could potentially happen, where like if this class does turn out to be decent, time will tell with all these players. It's always weird when you see these type of classes come up because like it's just a new athlete. When you're throwing the ball between your legs and dunking it midair like a between the legs dunk in the middle of a game, that's a different type of person. Like they're not missing the moment. They're ready for it, but they're also social media style moment players. So like maybe they have the gall to be that next tier superstar because they're ready to pull this type of shit off in the middle of the game.
I wanted, like, we got to get here soon, but I wanted to do the Alabama thing next week.
Oh, yeah. Next week.
I know we got to hit up college football next week. It was a down week this week. I wish when we did the NBA preview show, we talked college football because that week was dope. It was like the Tennessee upsetting Alabama. That was a great week for college football.
Great
Shout out
game.
to the LSU Tigers. You guys are ranked again. So
yes, sir, baby. Ole Miss can't beat LSU. I know they can't, but that's just part of it, baby. It's always gonna be go Tigers.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
It's not an episode if I don't play the sad Broncos country. Let's ride.
Sorry, Russell, but yeah, they are in trouble too.
He's given up, by the way. He's done with the Broncos country. Let's ride.
Good. We're not going to give up on it. We're going to make sure that everybody remembers that shit.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Let's ride. Let's get the lad here. Good episode, D. Good talking to you. Always good for the fans. Appreciate y'all watching live, following the podcast, listening. Just do us a favor, rate, review that bad boy. All right.
Big facts. More importantly, since we're not going to be here next Monday, we'll be here next Tuesday. Y'all have a happy and safe Halloween out there. If y'all got your kids going out there, make sure you check that candy. Dad tax is a real thing. Make sure that you eat it first before they get theirs.
Facts. And go Zappy.